Hi guys, Yuliya here. So today I will be talking about propagating plants, and there are millions of ways that you can propagate plants, but today I will be talking about water propagation of soft cuttings. So for this demonstration I will be using this beautiful plant, Iresine, which I have in my plant room, and this plant has all the characteristics of soft cutting propagation plants, so it's kind of easy to explain on this particular plant. So I have the original plant right here, and I will be showing you where exactly you have to cut your plant to create a cutting so it will root later. So I have this lovely piece of the plant, and what you're looking for is a node. Node is a little bulging on the stem with little leaves come out, or little air roots come out sometimes. So what you need to do is to cut your cutting right below the node, like so. So what's going to happen, roots are actually going to come out of here, and there's another node here. So I will actually take a couple of more cuttings because this plant is becoming a little bit leggy, so I might as well prune it and create more plants at the same time. So again, right below the node. And one more. Now, after you take your cuttings, you need to remove all the leaves on the nodes from the bottom, about 2 nodes up. So I'm going to remove these leaves right here and these. And what you do next is you place your plant in water. It could be a glass of water, it could be a bottle of water, whatever the water container you choose, it doesn't really matter. And as long as the nodes are in the water, they will root in a couple of weeks. So I will do this with the other 2 cuttings. Now, the reason you remove the leaves is so that they don't taint the water. So what's going to happen sometimes is they fall off and they start to rot and they spoil the water, and it's just not good for your propagation process. So there we go. This is done. So next I'm going to show you what happens after your plant has roots, and it is incredibly exciting to start seeing roots forming in your glass container. I think it's like magic, and that's why I love water propagation, because you can actually see it. So here is some Iresine with the roots, and this needs to be planted, and I will plant it today. As you can see, the roots indeed formed right along the nodes and right here. Beautiful. So when this happens, your plant is ready to be planted. I have had this Iresine in the water for probably a month and a half, way too long, but it's been doing fine. But the next step is to plant it in the pot. So I filled this pot with potting soil already. So what happens next is you make a hole. So I have 4 cuttings right here, but you make a hole deep enough to accommodate the roots, and you kind of drive your plant in there and tap it around like so. It's a little crooked, but it'll straighten out eventually. Go. Okay. So one last step is to water it. This is it. I'm going to place this in a bright but not sunny location because these cuttings are not used to sun yet. And I'll treat it like a regular house plant. So this is the easiest process of propagating plants in my experience. It is so easy to make a lot of plants, whether you decide to propagate them to go outside, or you decide to create more houseplants or give it to your friends or family. So I'm actually going to be propagating a lot of Coleus this spring because I want to create a patch of Coleus outside, probably like 9 square feet. And I do have some Coleus varieties that I want to incorporate in that tapestry. And it is the most inexpensive way to create that kind of look. So I will be propagating a lot of things this spring. But before I go, I wanted to show you what else I've been propagating this winter. So I already mentioned Coleus, and I took some cuttings which have roots already. And it even bloomed during propagation, which you're supposed to remove the blooms, but it's not a big deal if you do have the blooms. And of course I took more cuttings of Iresine. Now I have this beautiful purple heart plant that I had outside in the container, and I decided to take some cuttings and bring it indoors, and check this out, it has beautiful roots. Now this is a great way to save your container plants for the winter so you can put them out for the next summer or spring. This is a great way to save your plants. Now I also have this polka dot plants. This polka dot plant that I had was really misshapen, so I took the tops off and I just threw them in the water in this container, and they formed roots so fast. So cool to see roots forming. It's like so exciting to me. Of course, pothos. I took some cuttings of pothos. Mine is a little bit leggy, so I took the cuttings about a week ago. They had some air roots forming, but in no time they'll have real white roots coming out of those air roots. And then the last one is the spider plant. Normally spider plants don't need to be put in the water to root because they have a lot of air roots, but this one, for some reason, somebody gave it to me and they did not have air roots. So I put it in the water and it formed roots very, very quickly. So couple of things to remember when you're doing water propagation is the first thing is to change water at least once a week, because the water is becoming a little bit tainted every time like a week passes. So clean water is key. Another thing, put your plants in a warm environment. If you put them in a cool or cold environment, it's going to take forever to root, and they actually might rot instead of rooting. And then put them in the bright location but not sunny location because they can become dehydrated. And humidity is actually a big factor as well. You can mist your plants so they are a little bit more comfortable during their rooting process. One more tip, do not put different species in the same container, because you never know what kind of chemicals each plant has. Sometimes they are competitive with each other, so one plant can kill the other. So I think this is it. I hope you find this video informational. If you did, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Comment below as per usual. Also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I will post the links down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.